This is Pastor Davis' Daily Bread Guide message. Today's chapter is 2 Corinthians 10, titled as Demolish All Arguments That Set Themselves Up. Today's chapter can be divided into 4, verse 1 to 3, fundamental problems of the Corinthians church, those who follow the flesh. Verse 4 to 6, solutions. Demolish all arguments that set themselves up by the power of God. Verse 7 to 12, the Corinthians church's problem with the judging by appearances. Verse 13 to 18, the meaning of God's assigned portion. The three keywords of this chapter can be the lust of the flesh, and the weapons we fight with, and the authority. So our pride and arrogance will destroy the life. And as today's the title says, we have to demolish all arguments that set ourselves up. This is the pride against the knowledge of God. The first part is about the fundamental problems of the Corinthians church. So there are two examples in the Bible I can say where the pride brought the destroyer. The Luciel, the angel, became Lucifer, the Satan, because of the pride to be like God. And also the descendants of Korah, they invaded the authority of the priest, and God destroyed the descendants. So likewise, the pride and our arrogance will destroy our lives. That's why we have to be careful. God has given us our portion and our position, and this is under the control of God. But our flesh and our desires try to invade His authority. We do not want to stay under His authority. And we do not, therefore, want to follow or obey to the authority that God has assigned to us. And we do not want to obey to the order, spiritual order of the church, of our DNA, and of our community. This is why we become destroyed, and the fundamental problem here is our pride and our own argument that set ourselves up against His authority. So we have to bloom where God has appointed us, and there we need to bear the fruit under the authority of God and the leadership that God assigned to us. So all the beginning of the problems is my own thought, my own theory, and my own standard, which lead us to be disobedient to the authority of God. Move to the second part, and verse 4 to 6 give us the solutions to these problems, the pride. Let's read verse 5. We demolish argument and every pretension that sets itself up against the knowledge of God, and we take captive every thought to make it obedient to Christ. The the way to destroy the church is to give the worldly thought and the standards that are against the knowledge of God. And therefore we have to take captive every thought to make it obedient to Christ, and to against our own knowledge, but to be obedient to the knowledge of God. That's the first solution. And the next solution, verse 6, and we will be ready to punish every act of disobedience once your obedience is complete. The second solution is obedience. Here we have to go to the keyword, the spiritual atmosphere, the importance of the spiritual atmosphere in the community and in the church. The solical leaders, they may make good ambience in their DNA church, and they may have good fellowship and friendship. However, there is no spiritual order or authority. So, if they become a community-oriented church, then they may make gossips about the church, about the best sides of the community, of each other, and it would also create lies in the community that will destroy that the bondage of each members of the community. So the division of the Corinthians church is also led by the disobedience to the spiritual authority of Apostle Paul. So the second solution to the problems is to have the obedience to the authority of God, of the church, of the spiritual leadership. To move to the third part, the Corinthian church's problem with the judging by appearances. So verse 12, we do not dare to classify or compare ourselves with some who commend themselves when they measure themselves by themselves and compare themselves with themselves. They are not wise. It's not wise to compare each other, and we have to have our high self-esteem that will prevent us from comparing ourselves with each other. The last part of today's chapter, verse 13 to 18, this is talking about the position and the boundary of the spiritual leadership. Verse 13, we, however, will not boast beyond proper limits, but will confine our boasting to the sphere of service God Himself has assigned to us, a sphere that also includes you. So always there is the sphere and the boundary of all the leadership. Even though I'm the senior pastor of even though the pastor David is the senior pastor of Omega Church, but he's not the leadership of other churches. There is the sphere of the leadership. To sum up today's message, as verse 5 says, we demolish argument in every pretension that sets itself up against the knowledge of God, and we take captive every thought to make it obedient to Christ. So when the Satan gives us the heart of pride, then that will lead to the division of the community of oneness. So I bless you to renew your heart to be obedient to the knowledge of God, and you take captive every thought to make it obedient to Christ. God bless you.